Skinny Hardaway Southern T back with another EP. And y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll in. Let me try something a little different today. I'm gonna wake up this morning. What's good, dude? Appreciate you sliding through. Today I'm gonna wake up this morning. I'm gonna hit y'all. You know what I mean? With my tea, we gonna come have us a boxing conversation. And then what I'm gonna do on Mondays and Tuesdays from now on, I'm just gonna rip off all of my fight breakdown and predictions from MMA to boxing. I'm gonna rip off every fight. I'm gonna rip off every fight that I can. I'm gonna do fight breakdown predictions Monday, Tuesday. I'm gonna try to get all of them done, right? And then we gonna have them boxing conversations. I'm gonna get as many fight predictions as I can done, and then we'll have our boxing conversations in the morning. And if we have one time to have one a little later, we gonna have one a little later. What's good, dude? Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all get your boy right, cause we here for a good time and a long time. Go ahead and surely. Good while y'all here, man. Y'all get that like button for your boy. We gonna do our basically our fight weekend recap this morning. You know, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I didn't move my fight recaps to Monday, not Sundays. You know what I mean? So we go wake up these Monday mornings and we go get our recaps done. Yo, I got 3 people in the building right now. Can I get all 3 of y'all to hit that thumbs up? Don't know if it's your first time, but if you could, not maybe your last time, hit that thumbs up. You know what I mean? For your boy. But yeah, so don't know if you guys got a chance, which I'm sure you have, right? Don't know if you guys got a chance to check out Tsyzu versus Tony Harrison this weekend. It was a great fight. You know what I mean? I will say, you know what I mean? It turned out better than I thought. But I'm not surprised that this fight turned out to be a good fight. I'm not going to say that I'm surprised that Tsyzu won the fight, right? Because I gave Tsyzu about a 40% chance to win this fight. If you check my fight breakdown and prediction, I gave Tsyzu about a 40% chance to win this fight. That's a high chance, you know what I mean, to win this fight. Tsyzu went out there and he pulled it off. Actually, in my fight prediction, I said that the only way that you beat Tony Harrison, right, is to knock out Tony Harrison. I just didn't think Tsyzu will be able to put it all together, right, and be able to knock out Tony Harrison. I knew he was talented enough to do it. Didn't think that he had the experience or enough skill just yet to do it. But Tsyzu went out there and he proved me wrong. But if you check out my fight breakdown and prediction, even listening to that, you could hear me say that Tsyzu is very capable of winning this fight. He has a high chance of winning this fight, which is why I put 40% on it. You know what I mean? Tsyzu went out there and did just that. He won this fight. Some feel like Tony. Some feel like Tony Harrison should retire. Right? Feel like it's over with for him. I saw a bit of a different fight, right? The night that this fight went down, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I ended up dozing off. I ended up falling asleep, right? So I missed it, but I woke up the next morning, as Showtime always does. They show the fights, bright and early the next morning. So if I miss something or I want to watch it again, I wake up and I watch it again. So I woke up and I watched Tony versus Tim that morning. And when I fell asleep last night, I woke up, I seen Tony got knocked out. I saw people reviews, post fight reactions, and all that good stuff. It really didn't look, you know what I mean, too good for Tony. Yo, Big Tex, what's good, Big Tex? What's up, dude? Big Tex. Appreciate you sliding through. If y'all could, man, do your boy a favor, hit that thumbs up for your boy. Let YouTube know that we live, man. Help YouTube boy in the ag go bright and early. How many people you know be up bright and early? Actually be up bright and early, not running the premieres, right? Not running the premieres, but actually be up, after they sleep, up talking to y'all, in the flesh. Not just sitting here, letting you talk back and forth to them. You know what I mean? But actually up in the flesh, hollering at y'all. Actually up, putting in their real work right now. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate everybody. What's good, dude? Shout out my boy, dude. My boy, Big Tits. My girl, Jazz. Appreciate y'all folks learning, dude. Yo, I got 7 people in the building. Can I get all 7 of y'all to hit that thumbs up for your boy? I'm about to get this camera up soon, and we about to make it do what it do. What's good, dude? I know you know where I'm at. I know you know where I'm at with dude. I'm noticing something too, dude. It's this one particular dude got a big channel. He a lame though. No, he can't fuck with me in real life. No, I can see right through it. You know what I mean? I can see right through what's going on. But he go live every time I go live. Like it could be random. I go live at a random time. He'll start a random live with a huge channel. I just want him to know that I see him. And I just want him to know that I'm a better version of what you think that you is. But anyway, I digress. I ain't been here as long, right? I ain't got the connect that you got just yet, right? But I'm a much better version of you. I'm a better looking version. I'm a better packaged version, and my bitches look better. But I digress because I know he probably here in the building right now. You know what I mean? But I digress. But if I had watched it, if I had watched, if I hadn't watched the fight, right? I would have thought that Tony Harrison he got demolished. Now, where Tony Harrison did lose, he did lose this fight. We would, right, dude, right, right. If I had never watched this fight, right, which I didn't, the night of, I ended up falling asleep, but I woke up, right, and I rewatched it. Now, if I never rewatched it, right, listening to the reviews, I would have thought that, Tony got dismantled. Now, Tony didn't. Now, Tony didn't do great in this fight, right? Tony didn't do great in this fight, but I think Tony did do a little better than those scorecards indicated. What I feel like happened with Tony Harrison in this fight, and I'm gonna start off on the back end, right? I'm gonna start off with is Tony done or not? So my question to y'all, right? Do y'all feel like Tony Harrison is done? Do y'all feel like Tony Harrison is done? Because I personally don't, right? Now, this is just what I saw, right? I know people see different things. People see different things, right? And I don't got no problem with nobody having, a different hour or seeing a different fight from what I saw. DP Rocker, what's good? Yo, I got 11 people in the building. Can I get all 11 of y'all to hit that like button for me? Can y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy? I got 11 people in the building. I got 8 likes. If you're in the building right now, you ain't hit that thumbs up. Could you hit that thumbs up for your boy? Could you hit that thumbs up for your boy? Could you hit that thumbs up for your boy? Greatly appreciate your slide through. We're in there having our weekend recap, talking about Tony Harrison right now. A lot of people feel like Tony Harrison is done, right? I don't necessarily feel like he done. I saw a little something. DS, what's good, DS? I saw a little something different, right, from what most people saw. What I saw is, right, I saw Tony Harrison lose a fight, right, but I didn't see him get demolished or beat down. I saw a fight where Tony Harrison was actually in the fight. Now, even if I feel like Tsyzu was up, right, even if I do feel like Tsyzu was up, right, at the time of the stoppage, I do think that the what's good, baby? Appreciate you sliding, dude. I do think that the scorecards, right? I do think that the scorecards that the referees came down with, like I think the referees had Tony winning about 1 round, right? 1 round, maybe. A lot of those rounds in that fight, they were swing rounds. You know what I mean? If you asking me, right, they were swing rounds. I feel like a few of those rounds could have went either way. You had rounds where Tony Harrison would, control majority of the round, like most of the round, and then Tsyzu come on the back end, right, and he hit Tony with a couple power shots, and he hit Tony with a couple power shots, right, and maybe steered around from or steered around in some of the judges' eyes, or steered around in some of the judges' eyes, right? But in my mind, right, how I looked at it, I look at it, I break it down by like minutes, right? There were a few of these rounds where Tony Harrison dominated, you know what I mean, the first 2 minutes, and Tim Tszyu got the last minute. There were rounds in this fight where Tim Tszyu dominated the first 2 minutes, right? And then Tony Harrison got the last minute, right? There were rounds where Tony Harrison, won them like for 2.5 minutes, and then Tim Tszyu finished strong the last 30, right? So a lot of those rounds, right, I feel like could have went either way. At the time, at the time of the stoppage, I actually had it a draw. You know what I mean? On my scorecard. What's good, yo? The Wise. Appreciate you sliding through, yo. Y'all do your boy favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Y'all smash that thumbs up. Let YouTube know that we live. Help your boy get in there. I'll go. I got 11 people in the building. I got 8 likes. I got 8 likes. Y'all help get your boy right. Y'all hit that like button for your boy. Y'all hit that like button for your boy, man. Even if you don't like your boy, y'all hit that like button for your boy. Greatly appreciate you sliding through. Y'all can help keep the likes with the views. You know what I mean? But I digress. Right. So there were a lot of rounds in those fights that were competitive and close, right? Compared to close rounds. And Steve Farhood, gave most of them to Tim Tszyu, which I'm not surprised, right? But I saw a bit of a different fight. I actually think Tony was in this fight, you know what I mean, until he got stopped. What I saw Tony, using his jab well, but I also saw, Tim Tszyu being able to counter Tony pretty effectively, you know what I mean, in between his punches. He said, "What's good, Ted D?" That's what I'm telling y'all right now. That's what we on right now, Ted D. If you just slide through, I got 13 people in the building. Whether y'all just sliding through, if y'all could hit that thumbs up for the boy. I got 13 people in the building, 11 likes. Y'all help get your boy right. Let's help keep the lights with the views this morning. If it's your first time, if you could, not make it your last time, hit that subscription button as well. But that's what I'm doing right now, Ted D. I'm getting to, why I don't think Tony is done. You know what I mean? Just yet. Now, I just explained, right, how Steve Farhood's scorecard only had Tony with 1 round, right? And I also explained how Steve Farhood probably saw it in the event of it happening, right? Like I said, there was a lot of close rounds in that fight, right? A lot of swing rounds. There were rounds where I felt like maybe Tim Tszyu won the first part of the round. Tony won the back half of the round. Tony won the first half of the round. Tim Tszyu won the back part, you know what I mean, of the round. Maybe Tony won for 2.5 minutes, Tim won for 1 minute. Maybe Tony won for 1 minute, Tim won for 2.5. It was a lot of rounds, like that, where Tim may have had like 3 power punches that stood out in that round. But for the majority of the round, Tony Harrison was touching him with the jab, in the head, stomach, body. He was touching it with him. But he don't have quite the power that Tim got. So one person may grade around more power, and the other person may grade around more, you know what I mean, for the points. So I don't feel like, right? I don't feel like that Tim Tszyu dominated, you know what I mean, Tony Harrison. I feel like the fight, I feel like Tim Tszyu had to go win that fight. Like he was hurt in that fight. But I feel like Tim had to go get it from Tony. Like he ain't just, destroy Tony. But if you looked at the scorecard, Farhood scorecard at least, right? That's what you really thought. I don't think Tony was going to get a decision right after looking at the scorecard in hindsight, right? Don't think he was going to get a decision over there anyway. But Tim Tszyu, he never let it get to that. But Tony was fighting well. Tim Tszyu was able, the problem that came in for Tony was Tim Tszyu was able to counter Tony in between his punches, and it made it really difficult. You know what I mean? For Tony. That made it real difficult for Tony. I don't think Tony is done, right? Tim Tszyu basically he outworked Tony in that fight, right? He outworked Tony in that fight where Tony would throw a punch or two, Tim would counter his punch or two with 3 to 4 punches, right? It's like he was every time Harrison decided to throw one, Tim was like, okay, I'm gonna throw 2. You know what I mean? Roy just said, he said Tsyzu only got Tony because of his combos and quickness. Tony would have had it if he had more stamina. And that's basically where I'm going with it, baby. You know what I mean? That's basically where I'm going with it too. Is that Tsyzu demonstrated on Harrison what Boots was expected to do versus Kerry. That's why people criticize Boots fighting his last fight. They need the element what Tsyzu just pulled off on the mobile fight. Tony didn't even use his mobility that fight, pugilism. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think Tony lost that fight because of his skill or anything like that, right? That's kind of where I'm going. Baby just said Tsyzu only got Tony because of his combos and quickness. Tony would have had if he had more stamina. That's basically kind of how I feel. You know what I mean about it. Like I don't think it was a skill difference, right? It was a power difference, right? But power is just that. It's just power. It wasn't a skill. It wasn't a skill lack, right? Uh, Tony just it's like Tony. I feel like Tony is slowing down a little bit, like his stamina, right? It's like he didn't even use his mobility a lot that fight. I think he's slowing down physically, right? Is it like a stamina thing, an age thing? Sometimes the problem for Tony, he wasn't mobile. Seems like his body didn't respond. Yeah, like sometimes Tony would try to move right, and he'll trip over his legs. You know what I mean? He'll fall over himself. It's like the problem with Tony is physical. I don't think it's a skill or a mental thing. I think his body is just slowing down. You know what I mean? I think his body just slowing down. You know what I mean? Like Tony, I got a joke, right? I got a joke. I got a joke, right? Tony, he one of those guys who like to look at the punches, hit him in the face, right? Like he can see the punches coming, right? But he'll just look at the punches and he'll still let him hit him in his face. That's not because he's a bad boxer. That's a reflex problem. That's you know, that's a physical problem. That's a reflex problem. Like his mind can register. His mind can register. His eyes can see it, but his body he can't get. It's like he can't get his body out of the way. You know what I mean? Like he can't get his body out of the way. Type deal. He said the ring was small as hell too. Tony couldn't move. Yeah, that's true. Tony didn't try to use much movement. Maybe that's why he said and paced the fight out inside defense, not agile mobility. Yeah, yeah. But Tony, from what I saw, right, Tony didn't go into that fight. He didn't really go into the fight moving a lot. Like he wasn't moving a whole bunch. You know what I mean? From the beginning of that fight, which was kind of surprising. I expected him to use a little more mobility. But I'm thinking, right, kind of playing to what I'm saying. I'm thinking that he chose not to use a whole lot of mobility because he can't. I don't think he Yoda said Tony got to retire. I don't think he has to retire. And Tim Tszyu feet are slow, right? But Tim Tszyu got quick hands, man. Tim Tszyu displayed extremely quick hands. I think he was a little surprised by the hand speed. You know what I mean? Of Tim Tszyu, right? And I think Tony kind of aged a little bit in the ring right before our eyes, right? He's 32, but everybody's body is different. You got some guys who's 32 is different from other guys 32, right? Like Earl Spence's 32, right? 31 going on, he'll be 32 this year, right? 31 going on 32. Everybody age a little different. I think Tony aged, I don't even want to say he aged fast because he's about 33. He aged how he's supposed to. He just didn't age. He's just not right aging as gracefully as I would have thought. You know what I mean? Tony last night, I said last night. Tony the night before, right? He got put out. He got stopped by Tim Tszyu. But he didn't get knocked out cold by Tim Tszyu, right? Tony kind of, even when Tim Tszyu hit him, Tony was on the ground looking up at Tim Tszyu, looking up at the referee. You know what I mean? He got up and the referee called it off. I think Tony has reached a point in his career where he can't beat the elite fighters anymore, right? He can't beat the elite fighters, I don't think anymore, right? Would I consider Tim Tszyu elite? I think that question is still out, on it. But he beat Tony Harrison, right, who once was considered to be an elite fighter. So I do think Tony would be not Tony. I do think Tim Tszyu, right, could now be considered one of the elites of his division, right, at 154. And I don't think Tony can compete or beat, right, the guys in the elite guys maybe in his division anymore. But I do think Tony can compete with those guys, with those up and comers, right? Tony could become you know, gatekeeper sounds terrible, right? But Tony could become that, that gatekeeper type fighter at 154. You know what I mean? A gatekeeper don't necessarily mean that you're going to lose. A gatekeeper is a guy who fights prospects to see if the prospects, are ready to take their next step. And if Tony is to beat, one of those young prospects, right? Then that will put Tony, right back in the mix. But I don't think Tony problem is a skill thing. I think Tony problem is more physical. You know what I mean? He said then he needs to hang it up. Tony was only here for a shot at Charlo. He not willing to be a gatekeeper. Yeah, if he not willing, right? If he not willing to give it another run, which it does get harder. It does get harder as you age. Tony, what, 33? Tony is thinks that Tony better not become a gatekeeper. Said the age of gatekeeper is over. I don't know, man, because look at this. Y'all know Gabe Rosado, like speaking of gatekeepers, right? Gabe Rosado is a gatekeeper, right? Gabe Rosado beat Belp the Bully, and they put him right back in the mix. Now he fighting again for championship after championship after championship. You know what I mean? Now I don't want Tony to become a punching bag, right? But I still think Tony got enough. I still think Tony got enough skills, right, to maybe catch one of these young guys coming up. Or I see my guy Yoda saying J-Rock, Tony and J-Rock. I like that fight. Did you hear what Tony Harrison brother said? T, you mean about Tony Harrison not knowing if he go continue? Tony, I heard what you talking about, dude. I heard Tony Harrison himself say he been boxing since he was 5 years old, and that he is starting to think, about retiring. What Tony brother say, dude? I heard what Tony said, though. He ain't necessarily say he was going to retire, but Tony did say, man, I've been boxing since I was 5 years old. And when them boxers start talking, his brother said, did you retire, Yoda? See what I'm saying? See, I ain't heard his brother, but I heard what Tony said. And when them boxers start talking about, I've been boxing since this age, I've been boxing since that age. That is probably, the first sign of the beginning. The beginning of the end. You know what I mean? He said his brother, he can see his body isn't responding how it should. Yeah, in fact, I can see it too. I saw it the whole time. I had told baby when we was watching, I was like, damn, you see Tony out there just tripping over his feet. I said, damn, Tony out there just tripping over his feet. You know what I mean? But right, unless Tony wants to become a gatekeeper, because it's pretty much where he at right now. I don't think he's done. I don't think he has to be done right with boxing, but I do think he's done with boxing on that elite level. His status right now will be a gatekeeper status. And Tony may, if Tony decided he don't want to do that, I'm cool with that too. Tony can hang it up. He's 33 years old. He's been a champion, right? He had that Charlo rematch, you know what I mean, thing going. He just lost again, so that thing right there kind of over. So if Tony decided to hang it up, man, Tony had a good career. But I don't think Tony has to be done yet. I do think Tony may be done on the elite level. You know what I mean? I do think Tony may be done on the elite level. Don't think he has to be done yet. I heard Tony mention, I heard Tony mention rumblings of retirement. I heard Tony mention rumblings of retirement, after his fight. If he's a gatekeeper, he don't need to look like a rag doll. He could be calm and dominant. He said, listen, in the second Charlo fight, Tony was pushing Charlo back, walking him down in spots. He could not do that against Tim, and that's the problem to me. He's not the same. No need to risk getting hurt. More to life than boxing. I sent it to your DM on IGT. Let me check it out, dude. Let me check that thing. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy, man. Really here for a good time or a long time. Greatly appreciate you sliding through. Yo, I got 15 people in the building. I got 11 likes. I know I have more than 11 of y'all come through here. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Let YouTube know that we live. Let YouTube know that we actually up talking this good boxing. We not on the recorded stream. We not sleeping our beds right now. We not pump faking the system. We not beating the system. We up right now. And we live in that. Okay, here's the audio from Tony Harrison's trainer and brother.
appreciate everybody's support. I take the good with the bad. You know, when you winning, everything lovely, and when you lose, they're ready for you to go. I take the good with the bad with this shit, man. You know, I've been at the top.
And the caption say, "When it's time, baby."
Been at the bottom, like everybody doubts me.
Boxing, it say boxing is a young man's.
I got tough skin. I accept that. Everybody not gonna agree with you, And then I've also.
It say when it's time, it's time. Boxing is a young man's sport. Boxing is a young man's sport. Super proud of my brother, and I love him to death for even trying to compete on this stage at this stage of his career. But it's time we just continue to focus on pouring that heart into the youth and into the community. That's all. So it basically sounds like that Tony Harrison has officially, you know what I mean, retired. You know what I mean? It does sound like he's officially retired. Said Tony too busy clapping his girl cheeks. I don't know about that, yo. That ain't been proven, yo. I ain't just gonna throw him in there. I ain't gonna throw him in there with Alicia just yet. I mean, even if he is, you know what I mean? Even if he is, I mean, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at Tony. I ain't mad at Tony. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at Tony. I don't think maybe that is why he lost. Maybe that's why his legs was weak. Maybe that's why his body was up. But I ain't gonna throw that out. I ain't gonna throw that on Tony. I ain't gonna say, because he clapping, right? That's what's fucking him up. It may just be time for him to sit down. So I was watching that fight with Baby. I'm like, baby, Tony is just out here. I don't know his own needs. You know what I mean? He just out here following. He said, no, I heard it from inside. So yeah, I mean, maybe he is, but I'm saying I ain't gonna say that's the reason why he messing up. You know what I mean? And I can't believe it. He been training. I think Tony should focus on training Alicia. You know what I mean? I think Tony should focus on training Alicia. Yeah, right. I think he really should. I think right now that'll be perfect for him, right? If he is gonna hang up, he is gonna retire. Tony already on the road to be. I sent the video to you. Said Tony, Tony already on Tony already on the path to be, a good trainer, Hall of Fame trainer, right? He fighting now, and he still got him a active fighter that's a champion. You know what I mean? So he already up on it. He already up one. As far as him trying to find a pupil, him trying to find a student. He already got a great, student, already got an undisputed champion under his belt. Tony Harrison is an active fighter, right? With an undisputed champion under his belt. So that means if Tony Harrison decides to hang the gloves up right now, Tony Harrison already has an undisputed champion. You know what I mean? On his resume, and you can't. Okay, bet. And you can't beat that with a stick. You know what I mean? You can't beat that with a stick. That man already got him a champion. You know what I mean? On the resume. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy, whether you're here for a good time or a long time. I'm about to bring my camera up. We about to roll up, right? We had our Tony. He said our Tsyzu had was a counter. He wasn't jabbing. Just building. If it's a fight like that, it's going to favor Charlo. Shout out my guy, Roy Davenport. Can you do your boy a favor, Roy? Can you hit that like button for your boy? Let YouTube know that we live. I don't know if it's your first time, but if you could do your boy a favor, not make it your last time. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Subscribe to the channel as well. H Dog said, surprised J Rock took the fight with the dummies too. Yeah, I am. I think J Rock taking that fight that Tony can train and commentate. I don't think he's done yet, though. I don't think he has to be done yet, right? But listening to his brother and listening to what Tony said, or after the fight, he may be done. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't think Tony is an elite level boxer anymore, right? But I do think, he could be some of those young guys, those guys just around his, his age and in his stage of his career. But like we just said, man, Tony got a list of bum gunner. Tony got a list of bum gunner. You know what I mean? He got him a class A fighter. He could train her. Have a successful training career. He don't gotta go in there, take that punishment. And, we don't want to see Tony be a potato. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done, we don't want to see Tony be a potato. He said Charlo go make Tsyzu cry. all through that ring. Yep, Tsyzu didn't really use, you know what I mean, his jab. But what Tsyzu, he didn't use the jab right. But what Tsyzu, does that I like is when you throw your jab, Tsyzu does counter off of your jab. He counters off of your jab. He don't really throw a jab with Charlo, right? With Charlo, because Charlo is also a combination puncher. The thing that got Tony in trouble, right? And we about to go on segue that until Charlo and Tsyzu just got a little more interesting because Charlo and Tsyzu just got a little more interesting. You know what I mean? I'll be the first to say. I'll be the first to say that when Charlo and Tsyzu dropped, right? When the fight dropped, when the news dropped that fight was happening, I kind of like Tony. I didn't understand it at all. I thought the same shit that Tony thought. I thought the same shit that Tony thought. Tsyzu really ain't done much to deserve, you know what I mean, a shot. Tsyzu really ain't done much to deserve a shot at Charlo and all the belts. Now, right? I can't say that because he did go out there and he did beat Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison is a former champion. He did go out there and he did beat Tony Harrison. So now I sound crazy saying, Tsyzu don't deserve a shot at Charlo because if you beat Tony Harrison, you do deserve a shot at Charlo, right? So just on the basis of that, I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say I owe Tsyzu an apology because I never was really a Tsyzu hater. Just didn't think he was gonna be Tony. But I will say when the news first dropped, I was the first person to say, man, Charlo go beat the fuck out of Tim. Tim ain't ready. I do think Tim will be a champion one day. But today, Charlo will beat the fuck out of Tim. I got a chance to see Tim. I got a chance to see Tim in the ring with Tony Harrison, a guy who I consider an elite fighter at the 154-pound division. And Tim held his own. He did a great job. So shout out to Tsyzu. Tim did his damn thing. You know what I mean? I do think now, right, that he deserves to be in the ring with Jermell Charlo. I thought that fight was an extreme blowout, right? And I say at least right now, I don't feel like that fight is an extreme blowout. You know what I mean? I still do favor Charlo, but that fight just got a little more interesting, man. Like, as far as the watchability of it, at first I didn't think the watch value. At first I didn't think the watch value was too high on that fight, right? But after seeing Tsyzu and Tony Harrison, I think that I think that's gonna be an interesting watch. Tsyzu did something in that fight with Tony. They got me feeling like he's standing a bit more of a chance with Charlo. Charlo uses his jab. Tony Harrison uses his jab. When Tony Harrison was jabbing Tsyzu, right? Tsyzu was countering Jamal Charlo with the uppercuts and hooks, right? Jermell Charlo, not Jamal Charlo, my bad. Not Jermell, not Jamal. Tsyzu was challenging Jermell Charlo. I mean, Tsyzu was countering Tony Harrison with those hooks. Every time Tony Harrison would throw jabs, Tsyzu would counter with an uppercut or a hook. I like that aspect, because Charlo is a guy that likes to jab as well. The difference is when Tony Harrison jab and when Charlo jab, that Tony Harrison tends to throw his jab and he tends to reset. What I didn't like about Tony is he was resetting with his hands low, right? But when Tony throws his jab, he likes to throw his jab, then reset. When Charlo throws his jab, he throws a hook, he throws a straight. You know what I mean? And unlike Tony, Charlo is a bit more spry, a bit more bouncy, right? When he throw his jab, he gets his head off the line, he gets his feet off the angles. So Tsyzu could use that game plan for Charlo, right? To counter off his jab. But it's not gonna be as easy. To counter Jermell Charlo off of his jab because Jermell Charlo throws different jabs. He throws his jab on different angles. He throws a little more punches, right? He throws more combination. What's good, Ezek Chavez? Muscle Musa Lifestyle.
he throws combinations. He throws his punches at different angles, and he throws his punches on the move, not just standing still. So Tsyzu's plan for Tony Harrison made me a little more interested. Made me a little more interested, for that fight with Jermell Charlo. Now it's gonna be much harder to locate a Jermell Charlo, given the angles and stuff that he used. But I do like Tim's plan where if you go I do like Tim playing where right if you go throw your jab, Tim gonna try to make you pay for it. Yo, I got 17 people in the building. I got I ain't really trying to man lights I got, but I had 15 last time I looked. I know more than 15 of y'all been through here. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Let YouTube know that we live. Let YouTube know that we talking this good boxing. Let YouTube know that you in the building. Let YouTube know that you're in the place to be. Yeah, Tony style. Either Tony had that style, body just wouldn't respond. Yeah, facts that his body just wouldn't respond. It's like you could see he was like a step slow. You know what I mean? It was crazy to watch. I saw it early. I noticed it early. I was sitting there watching it with baby, and I noticed it early. The 50-50 exchanges are just that. Somebody getting rocked with no fighter at an advantage on their attack. Charlo can't play that game with Tsyzu if it starts heating up. Shout out my guy, Pugilism. Pugilism, exactly. Like that's why I said it just got more interesting. Because if Charlo likes to throw his jab and Tim likes to counter off the jab, but it's an adjustment, right? That I think Tony would have been able to make. I think Tony would have been able to make this adjustment, right? Maybe a couple years back. Tony wasn't using his feints. Tony wasn't using his feints as much as I thought he should have because Tsyzu was attempting, right? Tsyzu was not attempting. He did it. I ain't gonna say he's attempting shit. Tsyzu was countering Tony Harrison off of Tony Harrison's jab. Tsyzu was countering Tony Harrison off of Tony Harrison's jab. Tony Harrison, I felt like if he used more feints, he would have been able to confuse Tsyzu a little bit more, right? And cause Tsyzu to have to do a little more thinking. Charlo is more mobile, he's more agile, and he's stronger to the punch, right? Than Tony Harrison. I think Charlo, where Tony Harrison didn't, and Tony Harrison normally does a good job at this. He didn't this last time. He didn't set up his punches. He didn't Tony Harrison, he didn't set up his punches. He had his punches like the base 1-2, the base he didn't even throw his too much, right? Because when he throw his two, Tsyzu would counter. But and that caused Tony to kind of put his two, right, his straight in his pocket. With Charlo, if Charlo throws a jab, right? But Charlo moves with his jab, right? Charlo throws a 1-2, right? But he throws his 1-2s at angles. If Tsyzu is going to be waiting on Charlo to try to counter Charlo like he did Tony, that plan can work if you could time Charlo, if you could catch Charlo. You know what I mean? But if Charlo started using those angles, right? He started using his lateral, then he's not going to be there like Tony Harrison was. Tony Harrison was unusually stationary. You know what I mean? For that fight, hadn't seen Tony Harrison that stationary ever. You know what I mean? He was unusually stationary type deal. The exchanges. This is what I saw too, right? The exchanges. I feel like Tsyzu's. I feel like Tsyzu's best chance to beat Charlo is with power, right? I feel like Tsyzu's best chance to beat Charlo is with power, right? But if Tsyzu is fighting Charlo, is Tsyzu really the more powerful fighter in the fight? You know what I mean? The thing with Tony, the thing that stood out in that Tony fight was Tsyzu's power, right? And Tsyzu's hand speed, right? That's really what stood out in that fight to me, at least. That's what it looked like, jumped out the screen to me at least was Tsyzu's power and Tsyzu's hand speed. Now, Tsyzu's best attribute, right, will be his power. But if Tsyzu is fighting a guy like Charlo, if Tsyzu is fighting a guy like Charlo, right, what I saw Saturday is Tsyzu doesn't hit as hard as Charlo. And let me tell you how I came to that, right? Let me tell you how I came to that. Let me tell you how I came to that conclusion, right? So I saw both guys fight Tony Harrison, right? So let's use Tony Harrison. I saw Charlo hit Tony Harrison. I saw Charlo hit Tony Harrison with some of the same punches that Tsyzu hit Tony Harrison with, right? But the difference is when Tsyzu hit Tony Harrison with those punches, Tony Harrison, he his head went back, he recovered, right? He kept moving, he kept boxing. But when Charlo hit Tony Harrison with those punches, Tony Harrison fell. He fell backwards. He flew across the ring. He sat down on his ass, right? When Charlo caught Tony Harrison on the rope with his uppercut combination, he hit Tony Harrison with a hook, an uppercut, another uppercut, and Tony Harrison's on the ground. Tsyzu hit Tony Harrison with about 4 or 5 uppercuts in the corner. Tony Harrison never went to sleep. No, he never went to sleep. So, right, looking right at him. So what I saw was, right, is that pound for pound, punch for punch, right? What I saw was pound for pound, punch for punch. I saw that Charlo is a harder puncher. You know what I mean? Than Tsyzu. What's good, quick? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, quick. Glad you can make it. Queen in the building. I need to rap. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, quick. Glad you can make it, Queen. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that like button for your boy. So I think where the problem gonna come in for Tim. I think the problem gonna come in for Tim, right, is that his best attribute right, historically, which is his power, which is normally his advantage. I don't think he's going to have that advantage in here versus Charlo. Also, when Tsyzu steps in the ring versus Charlo, right, that hand speed advantage that he had against Tony, right? The hand speed advantage that he had against Goucher, because Tim is tricky, y'all. He's an Tsyzu out here. Tim is tricky, y'all. And Tim is tricky in the sense that he's slow, right? You look at Tim like he's slow, right? But his feet are slow. Tim's hands aren't slow. Tim got slow feet, which is what I think is going to get him which is what I think is going to be his problem when it comes to Charlo. Tim got the slow feet. Tim don't got slow hands. You know what I mean? Tim got slow feet. Tim don't got slow hands. You know what I mean? And I think his hand speed was a little surprising for Tony. But when he fights Charlo, his hand speed, right? Even if they are, it's not going to be as big of a gap in hand speed as it was with Tony. Tony Harrison has a quick jab. Tony Harrison has a quick jab, right? But Tony Harrison don't really, at this stage of his career, right? Tony Harrison don't really put his other punches together as good as he once does, as good as he once did, right? Does Tony. Jermell, in this stage of his career, has no problem, you know what I mean, putting his punches together. Jermell, at this stage of his career, doesn't have a problem physically. Tim's best attributes, right, which will be his toughness, which will be his power, right, which will be his hand speed. Is Tsyzu tougher than Charlo? You know, Jermell Charlo is looked at to be one of the most durable guys in boxing. Him and his brother, they looked at to be some of the most durable guys in boxing, right? Is Tsyzu stronger than Jermell Charlo? You know what I mean? Jermell Charlo got more knockouts. You know what I mean? Is Tsyzu hands faster than Jermell Charlo? We don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is everything that Tim does well is not a foregone conclusion in this fight that, you know, he's the best at that. You could say that he had more power than Tony Harrison. That's what got him through there, right? You could say that he was a little tougher than Terrell Goucher, right? That's what got him through there, right? But when it comes to Jermell, are we really gonna sit here and say that he's tougher? Now, even if he is, right? We don't know that just yet. It's a question, right? Are we gonna say that he's harder than Jermell? Even if he does, right? We don't know that. It's a question. Jamal got more knockouts. I mean, Jermell, I keep calling him Jamal. Jermell got. I must want to talk about Jamal. I need to talk about Jamal.
Yeah, so his fight too.
Yeah, big Charlo. All them friends too. Of course they told me. But yeah, I digress. He said Tim not athletic in the sense of agility. Nope. Side to side movement, lateral movement. Nope, he not. He got martial arts. Art of boxing down, timing, position. Yep. He's not wasting much energy in there because he's methodical at what he does. Charlo still favorite. Facts pugilism. This where it turned the tide. This where it turned the tide for me, pugilism, right? Like just off strength, toughness, right? Tim and Charlo could be even, right? They could be even, just off strength and toughness, right? Let's say skill for skill, right? Let's say skill for skill, right? That they even. Now Charlo could be more skill, or Tim could be more skill, or whatever, right? Or whatever you want to call it, right? But when you look at it, like you said, when you look at athletically, right? When you look at physically, right? That goes to Jermell Charlo, right? Even if they're the same size, right? Jermell Charlo has just as much power, right? We think, right? We could say, I think he has more power, but I'm being unbiased right now, right? If Tim and Jermell power is the same, right? If we think they're the same, we know that they mobileness, they athletic ability is not the same, right? And I think that's what's gonna separate. Jermell from Tim. That experience, which Tsyzu just got hella experience, right? He just beat Tony Harrison, a guy who beat Jermell Charlo. You know, now it went the distance, like I was saying. You don't outbox Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison outboxed Jermell Charlo, right? But Jermell Charlo came back the second time, he knocked him out. You get what I'm saying? 3 years ago, he knocked him out. You beat Tony by knocking him out. Tsyzu knocked him out. Now the blueprint has already been put out on Tony. You know what I mean? Jermell, you know, re-put that blueprint out, right? If you walk Tony down, you put that pressure on Tony, you could probably knock him out, right? And that's what Tsyzu went out there and did. He had a Charlo to look at. Okay, well, Charlo did it. I could, right? And he said, anything you could do that I could do better. Well, Charlo knocked him out in 7 rounds. I get, you know, yeah, it took you 1 time, took him 2 times. I get it. I like Tim. I do like Tim. I like Tim and I like his pops. You know what I mean? I like Tim. Tim just made this fight. He got me going. I believe now. I believe Tim got a shot. I don't think he got a huge shot, but I believe Tim got a shot. But Tim had said anything you could do that I could do better. Because, you know, he knocked out Tony Harrison. And I like that. I like that attitude from Tim. It makes me want to actually see the fight. Tim just took this fight from Showtime. Tim might have fucked this up for us. Tim just took this fight from Showtime, y'all, to pay-per-view. Now we got to pay for it. We can't just watch it on Showtime for the $10 a month. You know what I mean? Next time, we probably have to pay for that Tim Jermell now. Because it should have been free, right, yesterday. But Jermell broke his hand. Now he done knocked out Tony, and we probably got to pay for it now. You know what I mean? But I think the big difference between the two is going to be that the athletic ability of Jermell on top of, you know, Tim not being, you know, the stronger, faster guy off the wall, right? Hand speed wise, not feet wise. Tim feet slow as a bastard. But we talking about strictly hands. I think his feet being slow as a bastard is what's going to keep him from beating Jermell Charlo, honestly. We said Tony made this fight harder. than it needed to be. I think so too, Quee. I think so too, Quee. But I also think he did that right because I think Tony body maybe his body's slowing down. Maybe he could beat, some of the up and coming guys, right? But I think if he gonna be fighting the elites, he gonna be fighting the top of the division. I think Tony body is done. I think Tony body is done. I think Tony body is done being able to compete. You know what I mean with the I think Tony Body is done being able to compete at the highest level, you know what I mean, of the division. I think he's slowing down, right? I think he lost the gear, and I think people see that he lost the gear, so people just go keep putting that pressure on him the whole time until he crack. And if you got power, you got popping your punches, Jamel, Tsyzu, you can stop Tony, but you can't stop Tony. But you can't beat Tony unless you can stop him. You know what I mean? And I don't think everybody's going to have the ability to stop Tony, which is why I don't think Tony done. Everybody can't stop fucking Tony. Tsyzu can, right? Jamel can. But everybody don't possess the ability or the skill to stop Tony. You can't knock Tony out with one punch either. Tony ain't the guy who get knocked out with one punch. Tony historically got chin problems, right? But I think that shit is myth, bro. Chin problems, I don't see a chin. What's wrong with Tony? I don't see a chin what's wrong with Tony. I seen Tony get his ass pops 100 times at this point, right? And Tony never be there. He don't fall. If he do fall, he get back up. I don't think it's his chin. I think he physically. Tony may be a nigga with hands that don't lift weights. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Tony don't lift weights, bro. I think he box. He get in there, he box. I'm better than you. Boom, 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 boom. But he don't lift the weights. So if you hit him enough times, you could knock him. He eventually gonna fall over. You get what I'm saying? I think that's what Tony doing. As an older man, you gotta lift more weight. When you're a skinny dude, you gotta lift more weights to keep your base sturdy. Because you ain't got that young nigga see that's gonna keep you sturdy no more. So you gotta add some kind of muscle on you. You know what I mean? When you fighting against the elites you do. When you in Tony position, you do. Right? I think Tony don't lift weights. I think that could just be his problem. You know what I mean? They say in boxing lifting weights not good, but Tony got that slender frame, right? And Tony, again, I don't think it's his chin. I think it's a physical issue. You know what I mean? I seen Tony threw a punch the other day, and then Tony stumbled to the left, stumbled to the right. That's a fatigue. That's a stamina. It doesn't mean your legs tired. That mean your body tired when you get to tripping over yourself and shit. You ever been at work, shit going smooth, and you start like just tripping over shit? You know what I mean? You start tripping. Damn, I tripped over that. Damn, I hit my hand on this because you tired. You need some water. Your body tired. You still moving, but you ain't moving. Your functions ain't functioning the right way. Like you thought you picked your leg up enough, but you didn't. That's why you tripped over yourself. You know what I mean? Because you tired. Type deal. That's what's going on with Tony right now, bro. He tired. I think his body may have hit his fight count, at least his elite fight count. Anyway, he said Tony got a chin. He just take too many shots and has tank issues. And I think that's a combination of what's good, True Allah. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, True. Glad you can make it. Y'all do your boy favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Let you know that we live. I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too much longer. You know what I mean? Just wanted to come here and have this boxing conversation. Tsyzu, I used to call him Tim Tsyzu when I know his name. Tsyzu. Before I found out there was Tsyzu's son, right? I didn't know his name was pronounced Zoo. I used to call him Tsyzu. Somebody said Tsyzu. They said that's Tsyzu's son. I said that is fucking Tsyzu's son. Now he look just like fucking Tsyzu. You look at Tim, his daddy, bro. I swear to God, Tim look like a younger version of his daddy, bro. Like it's a picture of Tsyzu sitting in the chair, and it's a picture of Tsyzu, bro. Tim just got hurt now. Tsyzu bald head now, bro. I swear it's the same person, my nigga, just one dude had her on his head. Shit was scary, bro. Like he just had her, bro. I swear to God, like it was the same person, bro. One dude was just a little younger with her, and Tsyzu actually looked old as fuck. He looked old. He looked just like his dad looked now. He looked old as fuck, or his dad looked young. You know what I mean? But she was kind of scared a little bit. But like I was saying, the boy can fight, man. He just made that Charlo fight. The boy can fight, but he just made that Charlo fight hell of a lot more interesting. Yeah, I used to call the man Tsyzu, bro. I swear to God. You call the man Tsyzu. They was like, Tsyzu, that's Tsyzu's son. I said, damn, that is Tsyzu's son. That is motherfucking Tsyzu's son. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna keep out in this thing too. I'm just gonna kill these last 4 minutes, man. I'm chilling this morning. I got some fight breakdown and predictions to do and shit. That's why I'm gonna get up out of here in an hour. Cause I got some MMAs, I got some boxes. I'm really what I'm start doing earlier in the week. I'm gonna do all my fight breakdown and predictions. I'm gonna push them videos out. I'm gonna come on early, do my stream. I'm gonna push my fight breakdown predictions out Monday, Tuesday, and then we go rock it like that. Cause I used to do that a lot. Like I used to do that when I was coming up. Like before I was getting money out this shit, I was trying to get them white channels. Boom, boom, boom. I was on it, man. I used to do that a lot, but I'm gonna get back to it. That's why I used to do that. I used to flood early in the week. Was fight breakdown and predictions. Fight breakdown and predictions. I do fight breakdown predictions all week and break the breaking news in between. And then sometimes the breaking news will turn to a live stream. That's how I did it. I ain't the same because I ain't putting forth the same goddamn effort. Like I be doing one thing, boom, some more shit to come up. That's how y'all used to get them videos back and forth. But I'm most definitely finna do these fight breakdown and predictions. The significance of Charlo hand injury. What's he working with there? He'll be ready. He'll be ready to train. He'll be back. He'll be cleared to train next month. Him and Tsyzu will be fighting in the summertime, if I'm not mistaken. I think they say July, something like that. Tsyzu, Charlo in July. I have to hit up. I almost told y'all right now. I got to hit up my guy. But I think he said July. I could say his name. Y'all ain't gonna know who he was though. Y'all might. Motherfucker just go to PBC and like, let me see how many people name so and so. But yeah, July though. July. Summertime fight. They trying to get Errol Spence fight in April. But April, July, look for Charlo and Earl to, they fight to drop after each other. Like whichever one of them might, because Earl's still injured. I don't think he really. Earl's still injured. You know what I mean? I really think Earl want to chill until he try to get Bud to fight him. I think he's trying to entice Bud to fight him. Maybe if I sit out a year and a half, maybe Bud fight me. Maybe if Bud, he keep fighting, he be the one in shape, and I sit out. Maybe he might get. And I think that's what he's trying to do. Honestly, I really do. That's just me though. Ain't nobody told me that. That's just me. I think deep down, I want him to move on, but I think deep down he still want to fight, bro, because he want that undisputed. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. You didn't got this close. You got 3 straps, and nigga don't want to fight you for the last one. You know what I mean? So I think maybe he trying to let Bud feel like he got an advantage in. But anyway, I digress, right? I ain't gonna make no tea on it because I don't want to even cook that shit back up. You know what I mean? That's just me in my head type deal. So you can see why the Bud Spence album drop hasn't happened yet. They're still cooking and rolling out these openers before the main event. 2023 schedule crazy. See, that's the thing that that's the thing, right? And that's the thing that I'm not trying to push, right? I'm not trying to push it. I don't want Sudden T to be the dude like, oh yeah, they gonna fight because I don't know. I don't believe it like that. I believe Earl want this fight. Man. I don't know. Because it was supposed to happen last year, right? It was this and that last year, right? Never happened. I ain't gonna be the one. Don't forget up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. Skin the heart away, Sudden T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking, and I'm out. Love.